And like, I don't know, like, should I start watching Chicago Fire?
Brunch. Hit it, boys.
Okay, we're recording, and happy Pride Month. And hey, Ellen is with us.
Hello.
Sup. It's been a minute.
It has been very long, and I've missed you very much. I'm very happy to co-host with you today.
Not quite as fun as the Pride Month that we had last year.
I know.
Oh, yeah. It was all of us together.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking about that recently. Pride, a lot of fun, but also because following the everyone's a narcissist rule, I was also like, oh yeah, this is the 1 year anniversary of me trying spiked seltzer. I'd never had spiked seltzer before. And,
what a great memory.
It was awesome. We went to like this awesome block party, and Pete was I didn't know there was like a pre-game or whatever, so I showed up to what I thought was the party, but instead it was a pre-game. I had no alcohol. Pete gave me like one of your spiked seltzers. I was like, hell yeah. And then the place where we went had spiked seltzers and Bud Lights, and we were like, want to do just spiked seltzers all day? It was. And we
did a grocery store trip and got more spiked seltzers.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
When?
We definitely did an episode on this.
Yeah, I created a mess in the grocery store, didn't I?
Yeah. One of us did. We got iced coffees. You'd never been to Wegmans before, right?
Nope.
So we
still in my mind, I've never been to Wegmans, but I have.
That's true. We went from we Ubered from like the party to Wegmans because there's a Wegmans near me, and I was like, "Yo, we're gonna get like everything we could ever want. Wegmans has it." So like we were like definitely fading. We had quite a few spiked S's, and I was like, yo, this place, you can go get iced coffee. Let's get some iced coffee. Let's get that second win. So we got iced coffee. We were like, all right, now let's get some stuff for this cookout. Let's get some more spiked seltzers. Let's get some stuff to grill. And when we went to the alcohol section of Wegmans, I don't know if I want to blame you for this. It could have also been me. I don't know who did this, but one of us. It was
probably me.
It was definitely
best guess,
Pete.
probably me.
Okay, I'll let you take the blame.
You probably left me because that's what you like to do when we're
right. So yeah, that sounds more right. So you probably made a mess, and then I probably screamed like mess and ran away and left you to face all the damage.
Did you break anything?
No,
he put his iced coffee on a stack of foam coolers, which honestly, aesthetically, it looks like that's a pretty sturdy thing. But then you forget that each foam cooler weighs absolutely nothing. So it's like 0 ounces times, I don't know, 50, which equals 0. Like the whole thing doesn't even weigh a pound. So Pete put the iced coffee on it, just all of them immediately fell. Iced coffee went all over the place.
That's so embarrassing.
Well, not for me because I don't remember it.
I'm pretty sure that in general we were so embarrassing. I mean, we walked in and I was like, "Yo, check this shit out. You can get iced coffee." So like that was anybody who walked past that was like, "All right, this is embarrassing for these people."
It was embarrassing that they let us buy alcohol after that happened in the store.
That's very.
We're like, yeah, these guys need booze.
Not to bring up multiple times I've been canceled now, but one time I got canceled by some people on Twitter because they're at Wegmans. They were giving out samples of something. They were giving out samples of tequila, and I remember like I don't drink tequila anyway because I just think it can make people too crazy. So I generally stay away from it. So I tweeted something like, Wegmans is giving out samples of tequila. I don't drink tequila when I'm trying to turn up, yet they're giving it to like out to like 75-year-olds who can't find the ham. Thought it was a fun little joke. And people were big mad. They thought
were
it was
age shaming or tequila shaming.
I think they thought that I was saying like old people can't drink tequila. My argument was like nobody can drink tequila, but you're giving it to any Joe or Jane that walks in there. So there's a wide range of people that are getting that, and probably a wide range of behaviors that you're gonna end up getting. But happy Pride Month. Happy month, June, all of it.
I think it's all of June.
It's
It's all
yeah.
June, but there's always there's the one weekend that everybody really turns the hell up.
Which is wrong. They should turn up the entire month.
Yeah. I mean, celebrate. I was going to say celebrate everybody, but that had some potential
All lives matter
energy to it. And
Yeah.
definitely not trying to say that, but yeah. So celebrate everyone you love.
Everybody should celebrate Pride Month.
Right.
That's the way. That's what you're going for, I think.
Exactly. And that includes us celebrating SpongeBob. You see that?
Yes, that's true. Yeah, SpongeBob.
Nickelodeon.
Big gay.
Nickelodeon has announced or revealed, I guess, because they put it in a graphic. A graphic about like celebrate your gay heroes or like LGBTQ heroes, and SpongeBob was one of them. And that's all. I haven't seen SpongeBob. The only thing I know about SpongeBob is like there's some correlation with Ween, and that I think everyone on the show hates him. I think that's like the gist of SpongeBob.
No, not really.
No, not like hate.
A lot of people hate him.
Like they're like.
He's got a lot of energy, and a lot of people can't keep up with his energy.
Right. So I guess like he can be, I don't know, is there some like sort of Urkel quality to him? Like where like he'll walk into like his work and everyone's like, oh no, it's a SpongeBob. Like, right?
No, because he's always in a good mood.
Yeah, he's got a lot of enthusiasm.
Okay. So yeah, that's Urkel, I guess. Was Urkel the original SpongeBob, my column? But so Nickelodeon revealed that. However, Steven Hillenburg, is that his name?
Yes.
Steven
Hillenbrand, maybe?
That would be
something like that.
That's an overrated third baseman from the early 2000s.
Shea Hillenbrand.
Yeah. Oh my God. What was everybody's deal with Shea Hillenbrand?
Not LGBTQ friendly.
Really?
Theo Epstein, the F word, the hard F word.
Oh, brutal.
You don't remember that? There something happened where Shea Hillenbrand, there were some trade rumors around him before he actually got traded to the Diamondbacks, and he did something well. And he said to Theo Epstein, "Trade me now, hard F."
Man,
and was quoted as saying that. And then he got traded like a week later. So
it is crazy that we're not too far removed from like every now and then,
like a casual hard
like
F
an athlete, but like in the press. Like an athlete would say so, like an athlete or like a quote unquote, like big public figure. I was going to say potential role model, but I think that I don't know.
Shea Hillenbrand's your role model. You maybe shoot a little bit higher.
Side note: I'm starting to move away from the like athletes shouldn't be your role models, because there definitely are examples of athletes now that are like very great role models. Michael Hawley wrote a thing saying that. Just how much like the athlete's voice has changed over the years. He said that when his first time like covering the NBA, it was when the Cavaliers were in the playoffs, and in back-to-back rounds they faced Michael Jordan and Larry Bird, and this was around the time of the Rodney King riots, and like neither Michael Jordan nor Larry Bird were talking about that sort of stuff, and it was just like expected that they weren't going to talk. Like, why would they talk about that? These are athletes. This is their job and everything. So like it is crazy how much the athlete's voice has kind of changed. So I think after years and years of trying to correct don't make these guys your role models, you don't necessarily know what they're all about, we are kind of finding out that a lot of athletes are about potentially bad things, but like the Jaylen Browns, Devin McCourties of the world are like unbelievable citizens in their spare time. So a lot of them
I think also
are
a big
role
part of
models.
that now is like the media is like, tell us what you're all about. They don't have a choice to be on the sidelines.
Shout out Dave Chappelle for weighing in on our. We were quite confused in the last episode over the make a statement kind of pressure that was existing with everything, and obviously the pressure on like the average person to tell their friends to make a statement is different than like Don Lemon asking Dave Chappelle, who's like one of the most prominent black voices in America, or really most prominent voices in America, to make a statement when he's kind of been talking about this stuff all the time. But Dave Chappelle put that well. Like I've always been saying what I'm saying, and now this is a moment where the actual community and like the whole world is kind of making a statement. Anyway,
I said that to Ellen. I like was talking about Dave Chappelle's thing, and I was like, he was basically talking about like now's not a time for him to make a statement. It's time for like the streets to talk. And she immediately was like, well, Dave Chappelle's been talking about this for like the past 20 years. So,
oh yeah.
Well, that's why I don't like this statement culture, because it's like if anyone's been listening, they've been saying this for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
But that's why he left the Chappelle show in the first place.
Yeah. We're we're getting into we're getting into a bit of a I was going to say culture crisis, but that sounds wrong. But like as far as like statement culture, certainly cancel culture, which is getting out of hand. I saw an awesome graphic on Instagram that I shared in my story that was basically trying to get to the root of like why primarily white people are just constantly trying to like kick each other out and cancel one another. And it said it basically boiled down to, and it's kind of something that Pete and I talked about last week. It boils down to like, you think that you are the most right. So instead of helping people who are less right or less aware than you push them away to show just how much better you are than them. So you kind of stand out in this high regard.
It's a form of self-validation.
Right. Which, I mean, that can, you can draw that to like various aspects of like self-esteem and things like that. So I don't think that maybe everyone's doing it maliciously, but I think we all agree it's not healthy and it's not productive. Like we talked about the Drew Brees thing last week. Like the goal is for Drew Brees to get it. And the goal is for somebody with Drew Brees' platform to be a better role model, share a better message, understand it. And if we just taped Drew Brees' mouth shut after he said the million stupid thing he said, and God, has that guy really taken his time with getting up to speed, then I think a lot of people will just look at Drew Brees as maybe like this political martyr that Drew Brees didn't even sign up to be, and be like, okay, well, these lines are clearly drawn and you're either on this side or the other. And I think that a lot of white people right now should be trying to get everybody on the same page and taking those positive steps that eventually Drew Brees was able to take. Anyway, Nickelodeon said that SpongeBob was gay despite Steven Hillenberg saying that SpongeBob was not gay. And he said, well, no, he said that SpongeBob was asexual. And I think that it's fantastic that SpongeBob, a beloved character, someone everyone knows, is gay.
I'm just glad he's finally having sex.
Yeah, wait, how do sponges procreate in the wild?
I don't know. I would guess it would be tough because they use the sponge.
Hey, there's a limited quantity. You got to find out who's sponge-worthy. Right,
who's sponge-worthy. That's what their dating app is called.
Sponge-worthy.
That actually would be great. A dating app for Seinfeld fans called Sponge-worthy.
Be pretty good. Yeah. Is SpongeBob a top or bottom? What do you mean?
That's disgusting. I just feel like we're disrespecting him.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like the move is to get into the actual like.
Well, I want to know.
Of SpongeBob's sex life, but I don't know. I'm allowed to be curious. I do find it a little strange that, and again, I think SpongeBob being a gay character is the best and great. However, to change a character, to like wait until the creator of the character dies of ALS to be, and it's not necessarily an ALS thing, but like to wait until the creator dies to be like, all right, cool. Now, so what do we want to do with SpongeBob now? Now that the boss is gone, we can make SpongeBob whatever we want.
The guy just dies, and everybody's like, so he's gay, right? We are all thinking it, right?
Maybe maybe it goes back to the thing of like, once you put some art out there, it's not really yours anymore.
It's not yours to own anymore.
Yeah, at some point you can't control what people use your fake name for. Shout out Josh Tillman, whose fake name is Father John Misty. People forget about that. Yeah, I see you're still gaming with Father John Misty.
I am. And bad things happened this week. Got traded to the Miami Marlins. I'm not happy about it. Father John Misty is going to find his way out of there real quick.
I don't hate doing gaming updates on this podcast. Down. I still know absolutely nothing about video games, but I don't know.
Yeah, so the update is that I made a Father John Misty character in MLB The Show, and we're taking him to the majors. He was originally drafted by the Detroit Tigers, had a great rookie season in the minors, and then got immediately traded to the Miami Marlins, and he's not happy about it.
Miami Marlins is tough.
It's a bad organization. And it's not fitting for Father John Misty's vibe.
It's not, but I think he did move to New Orleans at one point. So it's
very different from Miami.
But like are the Marlins the closest baseball team to New Orleans?
Atlanta, maybe?
Atlanta, yeah. Braves. Bro, Braves would be a
pretty good one.
That'd be a great one for him.
So like when we started,
Mariners, obviously.
When we started, I was talking with like the Twitch chat, and there was like a lot of brunch fans in there and a lot of Father John Misty fans. And we were talking, we were like, what would be the best team for like Father John Misty's personality?
I would think I thought
the Tigers were a pretty good one.
Tigers
are
good.
Just like a depressing organization.
Yeah, very murky, very mundane. In Only Son of the Ladies Man, he says, I'm a Dodgers fan, so Dodgers would be good. Mm-hmm. Also, there's just something very musical to me about the Dodgers jersey. Like the white Dodgers jersey, Glenn Fry of the Eagles always wore one. And there's just something like very like 70s and like I feel like the Dodgers jersey goes well with like long hair. And
I feel like the Dodgers jersey is like a culture in itself. Like it carries a sort of culture to it.
I mean, every time Mitchell and Ness has like a 90% off sale, I'm always like, is this it? Is this when I get the Dodgers jersey?
Well, I have a lot of like semi Dodgers gear because my buddy James Sullivan, he does the social media for Highland Park Brewery.
Oh, right.
Which is right across the street from Dodger Stadium. They're a tasting room, which, by the way, if anybody's in that area, go to the Highland Park Brewery tasting room in Chinatown because their beers are fucking phenomenal. But they like all their merch, like a ton of their merch is Dodgers themed.
That's great.
So I have like a ton of like pseudo Dodger gear.
I mean, you've got the hat that says beers,
which is like amazing. It's the best hat.
It's the best hat and the best SNL sketch.
Yes. Yeah.
I still get unbelievable mileage out of cousin CJ saying "Who cares" and throwing a stool against the wall.
I mean, I love that clip, and I also love the beer's all that matters to me now.
Beer's all that matters to me. We're all out, CJ, and that's that. Oh man, Ellen, have you seen the beers sketch on?
No, but I mean, the way you recreated it, I'm sure that's.
It's Larry David.
That's it.
Well, let's just
obsessed with beer.
Let's just recreate it a little more. All right. So these two guys, cousin CJ is coming to visit. It's got a very like step-by-step, like 90s kind of it's like kids family sitcom to it. And like all the transitions are like your like classic like
let me just grab this guitar.
Like shit like that. And it's these two guys, like all their time, they're so excited to go for a bike ride the next day. One of their cousin CJ, is coming into town. It is clearly elderly Larry David, and all he wants to do is sit around drinking beers. And whenever one of them is away, whenever Beck Bennett is away, he throws tantrums in front of Kyle Mooney, smashes chairs, eventually stabs him. It's very, very good. It's very clearly, I didn't see it when it aired initially, but I can guarantee you it was on between 12:35 and 12:55. It was in like that last half hour of SNL where they're like,
well, let's just put anything on.
Like back in the day, they'd be like, all right, time for Mulaney's sketches, like the especially weird ones. And now I feel like that's when they use Kyle Mooney's shenanigans. So that was pretty cool. That was I would say that was very Wine Actually-esque in that the discussion and explanation of the beers sketch was probably longer than the actual beer.
And the actual sketch.
That's what we like to do. Now you don't have to see it because now
it's like I saw it.
Now you've heard it in full detail.
DJ, how's your fitness going right now?
Quite good. I'm running every day. Seriously, not joking.
How's that?
It's a work in progress. It'll probably it could get better. Who knows? I'm not going to promise it's going to get better. It could get better. It's possible.
How's your workout? Your fitness going? You look great.
Yeah, I feel great and I look great.
Okay, great. Well, when most people are trying to lose weight, I'm assuming that neither of you are because you both look fantastic.
Oh, no, I'm trying to lose weight. Let me tell you.
Okay, well, our next sponsor is great for you because whether you actually start exercising or not, the results are normally the same. I say the same because losing weight is all about nutrition. So you're really wasting your time by working out because you should just be focusing on nutrition.
I mean, I was going to say I'm also focusing on nutrition, but not as well as Awaken 180 could
there you go. You know exactly where we're going because Awaken 180 weight loss gives you customized nutrition plans, weekly one-on-one coaching, and the option to receive 80% of your daily foods to help you lose weight for your first week and each week after until you're down to your ideal weight. During your weight loss transformation, you'll be gaining the tools to know what and how to eat so you can keep that weight off for the long term.
But wait.
What?
I need something for the rest of my life.
Well, what do you know it? Awaken 180 will provide you free support for life. It's unbelievable that you asked that very appropriate question at the right time. It's worked for guys like Cedric Maxwell, Scott Zolak, Dan Ray, Kyle Draper, Andy Gresh, and thousands of others. Now it's your turn. Call the long-term solution for weight loss and the official weight loss program of the Boston Red Sox. Wow. I mean, holy crap. Awaken 180 weight loss. Unbelievable. You can find it online at awaken180weightloss.com.
And let me tell you, Kyle Draper was a good-looking dude pre-Awaken 180. That guy, like, every ounce that he wanted to get rid of vanished. So Awaken 180 does something, man. Awaken 180.
You know what it does?
What's that?
It awakens your best self.
It awakens your best self, and it gives you that support for life.
For free.
For free. It just keeps going. We want to give some support to our buddy Chaps. Very, very sad news. Chaps announced from Barstool. You may have heard him on one of the Hot Guys versus Weathermen episodes. That
he was on one of those?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The third one? Third one.
Third, I think, yeah. And but he announced this weekend that he has Parkinson's, which is obviously devastating news. But he's just, I don't know, like
he's the best. I love him.
He is the best, and everybody. There's like a lot of like online friends that we make, you know, and just like by Twitter followers or whatever. But I mean, like, think of the impact that guy and his classic goofing has had on so many people. I mean, he announces this terrible news, and just like I went on Twitter last night while I was playing poker, and like all I could see was just like everybody tweeting about him, and it's well deserved because he's the best. So
I mean, there are just like some of those people, like we have online friends, but we don't really know them. And I don't really know Chaps like in real life. We've talked to him, had conversations, and had him on the podcast before. But like, there are some people that you just don't know like who they are, and like if they're actually good people, like you know them online, you like their online personalities. But like Chaps is one of those people that I can say with 100% certainty he is an unbelievable human.
Good egg, a good egg.
And so I think Chaps is near and dear to my heart. I love the guy, and I only wish the best for him.
He has a fantastic podcast too, which I would highly suggest.
I haven't gotten into Zero Blog 30, but I've heard great things. So
it's a military podcast, but it's also for civilians, and they are hysterical.
I mean, I love Chaps. I love.
You learn a lot.
Is Kate on it?
Kate's on it.
All right, so that's pretty loaded.
Probably the funniest person at Barstool. Sorry, Chaps, but
I'd have to really think about any sort of like power ranking of Barstool people in terms of funniness, but Kate is like legit as like the funniest. Does sound right. Kate's like
she's so unique.
Yeah, I just based this on her Twitter and
she's
like
the best.
Just shit that she posts. So classic brunch. We're trying to wish Chaps heartfelt Chaps message.
Fuck Chaps,
which reminds us how awesome is Kate.
Chaps brought Kate in.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like
there you go. That's because he's so talented.
Yeah,
he's got a great brain. He's bringing in the funniest people at Barstool. So good for Chaps. I mean, I love him. Only the best.
Bless you, Chaps. We're all gonna obviously remain huge fans because you're gonna keep pumping out.
He's got many
awesome
good years ahead of him.
Oh yeah, any
And we all
if
do.
it's a Chaps year, it's a good year, you know?
Yeah.
So best of luck and all the love to Chaps. That is one good egg. All right, crux of the episode, I would say, King of Staten Island, huh?
First, I mean, we have to talk about the guy that I texted you about this week, the Twitter account. It's just like I need to talk about it.
Oh,
the Jeff Tiedrick Twitter account.
So yes, there's a Twitter account that only retweets and makes fun of Trump, right?
Yes, so his entire account is dedicated to responding to every tweet that Trump has, and it's like supposed to be humorous and it's supposed to be like burning Trump in the replies of every tweet, and it is just like I hate this guy more than anybody on Twitter. I absolutely hate him.
That's not how I thought that was going to go.
No, I mean,
I think I don't know. It's weird because you certainly can respect taking umbrage with one Donald J. Trump.
Sure, I absolutely do.
But you don't like the way he goes about it?
I don't like the performative aspect of like doing it for clout every single time.
Gotcha.
And it's worked for him. He's gotten like 400,000 followers, and all of his tweets get a ton of engagement because he's in the replies of Trump. Yeah. But like, he is not
bad strategy.
Not fun.
I was just thinking that, and I was also thinking like, not to. This sounds like Elle and I are about to gang up on Pete, but I can see how
sounds like I might start doing it.
Yeah. I can see how when you see someone get like a shitload of followers in a bullshit way, you'd be pissed. Like as a good Twitter user, I am offended that this person.
But I'm not even like offended about his audience. I'm offended that like it just makes me so mad that he like got like a little taste of clout and was like, this is going to be my entire personality.
Yeah,
because it's like.
But that's like what Twitter. That's what you do on Twitter.
Not necessarily. Like you can get like a little bit of clout and like build on that and maybe expand.
Can you give me an example?
I'm not doing any of those things, so I don't.
His entire presence on Twitter is just making fun.
Read a Donald Trump tweet and then read a reply.
I'll read you the last 3 regular tweets that he's sent. I'm sorry, but I will never stop finding it funny as hell that the guy who has spent his entire life mocking the weak and helpless is now falling straight the fuck apart before our very eyes. Okay. 6,000 retweets.
Could have been talking about anyone there, by the way.
Right. Pretty unfair of us.
That was about you, DJ.
Yeah, that was very vague. That was a soccer tweet.
Pretty unfair of us to expect the guy who doesn't understand how science works or how campaign finance law works or how not cheating on your wife works or how not running a casino works or how not closing a fucking umbrella for fuck's sake works to suddenly understand how ramps work.
So I wouldn't hate that tweet. 2 things. If Jeff tweeted it instead of him, and if he didn't have the "for fuck's sake" in there, the "for fuck's sake" does sound very performative. And now I think we are getting into we're being white people canceling white people for like silly reasons now.
You can't dominate the battle space until you can first dominate a ramp. That one's not too bad. Okay, so holy fucking shit! The president of the United States is an easily triggered snowflake. So he tweets stuff like that all the time.
That is quite low-hanging fruit.
So yes, it's like, holy shit, this guy sucks. It's like, well, when you only tweet about that and you dedicate your entire life to tweeting about how Trump sucks, you don't get to tweet like, holy shit, this guy sucks.
You know what he is?
Because you're dedicating your life to like studying that.
He's Joe Bluth on his first day at Sitwell Enterprises when he has the idea for Single City. Yeah. And then the next day his idea is for a community where only single people live called Swing City. And the next day it's just the same idea every day until he gets to Fuck Mountain.
Right.
But it's like,
I hate that.
The first one worked. Okay. You can't just keep repackaging it.
Right. So that's my biggest issue with this guy. And I guess the amount of success that he has bothers me too. Mm-hmm. But I will say it's very funny that he has a Patreon linked to his account, and his Patreon has like 40 people subscribed to it.
What does he do?
He does that. He's not a person of relevance.
He just like tweets that Trump's a joke.
I can do this.
It's like, what's the link to the Patreon?
You could definitely do it better. So, like, please dethrone this guy as
my job.
The ultimate Trump hater.
You know who else does that? And I recently followed him. I think Ellen might be familiar with him. Maybe you won't be. Do you know who Richard Marx is?
No.
Okay, Richard Marx was a singer in the 80s. He sang "Right Here Waiting for You." He wrote you don't know that song, right?
Can you sing it?
Wherever you go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever you do.
Yeah, he's got that great raspy voice. He's got just like, oh my God, he was a heartthrob back in the day. He also
like you're like 85.
he wrote
Back in my day.
I'm getting there.
Could get it.
I'm getting there. He also wrote "This I Promise You" by NSYNC and produced it.
Wow.
Great song, which I mean that is
very similar.
possibly yes, very 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 similar. And if memory serves, JC Chazé's audition song for Mickey Mouse Club was "Right Here Waiting for You." And "This I Promise You" is the JC showcase of all showcases. They have Justin just barely limp through the first verse, and then they're like, all right, JC, here you go. Take over the rest of the song. That might be top one in sync for me.
Yeah. Well,
That is
JC did carry the show.
Oh my God, thank you. I got in this argument
You're talking
last
to the
night.
right person with that take.
Yeah. A very good way of I like these little
Litmus
barometers.
test.
Like, well, yeah, they're like the litmus test of like you go up to someone like, hey, who do you think's a better vocalist, Beyonce or Adele? And when they say Adele, you are like, okay, now I know that they don't even come close to knowing what they're talking about. Another one, and this might be a little tougher, is who was more valuable to NSYNC, JC Chazé or Justin Timberlake? And I can understand why you would say Justin because he's more famous. But man, the game plan with NSYNC was to have JC do all the heavy lifting because he's definitely a better singer.
But what about Backstreet Boys?
I would say Lance Bass is the most important member of NSYNC for the culture.
There you go. Okay. Backstreet Boys, most valuable member?
Nick or Brian. So
most people I think would say Nick, and then a lot of people would say, no, it's Brian. And then here comes Dave saying, actually, it's
Kevin.
AJ. No, it's so I got in this argument last night.
Yeah, everyone forgets AJ because he's short.
Right.
No,
AJ.
That's Brian.
No, Brian's a tall, handsome one.
No,
AJ
that's Kevin.
No, AJ actually does have
Wait,
some
we need to clear this up because Ellen
body.
is absolutely 100% thinking of the wrong person.
AJ is the jacked, tattooed, like badass looking guy, but he's I think
with the thick eyebrows.
I think he's a little bit of a thing, right? I'm pretty sure he's short. Let's look up Backstreet Boys by height. Backstreet Boys. That would be a great quiz. We should come up with like quiz. I don't know how we could do this, but like brunch quiz book.
Oh, so is that? No, that's the far right. No, that's Kevin.
Yeah.
That's Kevin. That's not who you said.
All right, I'm looking at them all standing in a row, and
That's
it would
not Brian.
appear.
Okay.
That is Brian, and that's Kevin.
So
they're cousins.
It would appear
I like Kevin.
Kevin is the tallest, followed by Nick. And then it looks like AJ does have like a drop on Howie, but Howie's standing up straight. Brian's posture is trash.
Wait, which one's Howie? Is Howie the one with the beard? Or is Howie the one clean shaven with like the faux hawk?
Damn, they look a lot different than they
I don't even know what they look like now. I'm trying to think. What did they look like back in the day? All right.
Who is that? That's Nick.
That's Nick. Looks a lot different these days.
Age will really catch up with you.
And drugs.
Howie was just, for lack of better term, no offense.
Is Howie like
buddy.
the bad boy?
No, AJ was.
Okay. So yeah. Now I get it.
AJ was.
You think AJ is the most important?
Yeah, he had the most unique voice, and he did a lot of the JC work of like we need you to either sing I Want It That Way. Again, I think that the trick with boy band member value is to look at who sings the second verse. Second verse is a very, very important, it's a turning point of a song because it's where they give you something you've already had, but they beef it up a little bit. Typically, it's with something either percussive or like they'll either add a piano or they'll add a shaker or they'll add something that just really beefs it up a little bit. But for boy band, where you're just so focused on the voice, they'll have somebody with like a lighter voice sing the first verse, and they'll have somebody with a really nice chest voice, such as JC. His chest voice was unbelievable, or AJ.
So Brian usually does the first verse.
He's like, tell me why. That one?
I mean, that was the whole group.
But
No.
AJ does the am I in the second verse, and then he does the yes sir, like, and he's doing like more ad libs and more descant type of stuff. So they give the tougher stuff to the folks who can handle it, and that's your AJs and that's your JCs. So I guess initials help.
I think that NSYNC is superior because I can have more identifiable voices in NSYNC. Like Backstreet Boys, I feel like they're just like a group. I don't really know them other than Brian.
I mean, Howie has the bridge of "Show Me the Meaning of Being Lonely," but Lance and Chris sang the first verse of "Drive Myself Crazy," which is a great. So that's top 3 in sync. I think I'm realizing I just really like NSYNC's ballads, but Chris sang in the beginning of that. But other than that, you're not getting a lot of Lance singing, and you're definitely not getting a lot of Joey singing. Backstreet Boys actually spread the ball around a bit more.
Yeah, they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They do, but I think that they have more identifiable voices in NSYNC.
Oh, yeah. Backstreet Boys, girl.
Which I guess makes sense because they had people from NSYNC who like made solo careers. Nobody from Backstreet Boys was really able to do that.
I still wonder what the hell happened to JC. I've said this before,
but I think that he tried to go too steep into like I'm in NSYNC and I want to fuck you and I'm making fuck you music.
Oh, like, boy, did he!
He went so
what
hard.
Was his single afterwards?
It was like
blowing
really
me
dirty.
up. Blowing Me Up, Tara Reid was in the video. I love that song. I still put that on playlists.
He tried to go.
She was disco lights on a Friday night, moves across the floor. But he's like screaming. He's like, sugar! He's like really going nuts. And then it goes, she was, blow me up with her love. But the uhs were not like I just did. They were a lot more suggestive.
He did the Miley Cyrus. Like, I would need to get rid of this Hannah Montana image.
Exactly.
And I need to know
the pants are gone.
I'm trying to F. Yeah. I think that he did it too aggressively. Like, Justin took his time a little bit.
Yeah, Justin meandered a little bit, but also Justin's first album, if memory serves,
wasn't very good.
But it was also produced by Pharrell and Timbaland. So Justin had a safety net that I don't think anybody has ever had when they began their career. Potentially Jacob Dylan, because they gave him Adam Duritz singing backup on 6th Avenue Heartache. What a song. That would be a good thing to
great tie-in. Great tie-in to our movie discussion, because One Headlight has a prominent role in King of Staten Island.
Right. I was like, people know the lyrics better than you guys are letting on.
You would be surprised.
I feel like don't you feel like that's what people do?
People of that age bracket definitely wouldn't know.
When you're wasted?
Yeah, true. Yeah, because One Headlight was probably a little late for them. That would be like a Maroon 5 song coming out now. It's very easy. It could be ubiquitous, and I still wouldn't necessarily check it out that much or know about it. So like years down the road, if I hear it, I don't know, what would be a good example? Like if I
think Pete Davidson would have known the lyrics better because it would have been like more in his sort of wheelhouse of music interests as like a young person.
I think he would have been quite. I think that he was too young for One Headlight to really get it in the.
I can too, but it like came around for me.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I consider One Headlight to be like smack dab in the prime of my. I'm a kid checking
it's like
out
late
music.
90s, right? Early 2000s.
I think like
I
96,
well.
something like that.
Okay.
That was a game that we were playing. When did Bringing Down the Horse come out? This is a game that I played on Zoom with my friends when we'd play poker afterwards. 996, nailed it, Dave.
Wow, good job.
I would play a bunch of songs from the 90s one by one, and everyone would guess what year. It's pretty fun.
You haven't watched Insecure this season, have you? Yet?
No.
So they play a game in that where they just they name a celebrity and you try to guess the height.
That's great.
That game.
Yeah,
we should do.
Basically, just did that.
I was gonna say they kind of ripped off our game of ordering boy bands by height.
DJ, you betting on anything lately?
You bet.
Oh, wow. Nailed it. Well, that's good because there's no shortage of action going on at our exclusive partner in Bet Online. Sports are slowly making their way back into our lives with the UFC, NASCAR, and soccer leading the way. I'm very excited about MLS. And
I'm excited about I'm excited about NWSL and MLS.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, good call. Good call. Don't want to get canceled. BetOnline has all the best odds and lines for the upcoming matches this weekend. Need more? BetOnline has simulated NFL, NBA, and UFC happening every day live for you to check out. Looking for something else other than sports? Oh, well, BetOnline has hundreds of live casino games, poker tournaments, and all the best props in the business. Visit betonline.ag or use your mobile device and join now to receive your new welcome bonus and start playing today. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. That's betonline.ag.
So yeah, let's talk about King of Staten Island. It's a love letter to my whole family, according to Pete Davidson, which is good because we love a good love letter here on Brunch. And also, Pete Davidson obviously lost his dad very young.
Pete's entire life is a love letter to his entire family.
Right.
So all he ever talks about is his family.
Which is cool. I mean, a lot of comedians always talk about their family. Think of that. Who's that stupid guy that I don't think he's stupid, but he's like the
Dane
ultimate.
Cook.
No,
Chris D'Elia. Sorry.
He's like the same thing. He's like the he's the Jim Gaffigan.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say he's like the ultimate dad joke guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
His whole career is like, I've got kids, and oh my, it's tough keeping up with the kids. Which
I got like a minivan. Woo.
Right. Hey, God bless. That's great.
Everybody in the crowd's like, oh shit.
Those jokes are really funny, but I always find it funny when someone loves that a comedian talks about their children. That was definitely a thing with Kevin Hart for a time.
Mm-hmm.
He got himself in trouble there. Remember when he talked about the kids at the birthday
not
party?
LGBTQ friendly.
Anyway,
Happy Pride Month to Kevin Hart.
So I'm excited to talk about King of Staten Island. I don't know what you guys think of it yet, but I'll say this. It's a 71 on Rotten Tomatoes with a 90 audience score. And I think the truth is exactly in the middle. I think it's like a high B-. I think it loses a letter grade because the first half is a mess, but the second half of this movie is as enjoyable as movies get. And I rewatched the second half of this movie twice because I love the second half of this movie so much. But the first half of it is really,
it takes a while to get somewhere.
Right. Just like really poorly. The structure of it is all over the place. But I still think the end result is like a movie in the B range that very easily could have been in the A range if it were handled a bit better. What do you guys think?
I thought that it was good. I didn't think that it was like spectacular or anything. Like I think that those scores, I didn't see the Rotten Tomatoes before we came on here, but I think those scores seem correct. Like those, it seems like not a critic's dream because there are problems and there are issues with it, but like it's a movie that mostly everyone will like. Yeah.
What do you think, Ellen?
I liked it, but I feel like if you took Pete Davidson out and put in another actor whose father didn't die as a firefighter and like didn't have this connection to Staten Island, then the movie is just trash.
So it's trash, but like it definitely feels more
like I was way more connected to it.
Right, I was gonna say a big part of the connection is your own connection to Pete Davidson.
Yeah, it's got an emotional hook to it, and it is Pete Davidson. That hook is Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
I thought, so my issue was like the first half, I think this could have been so easily done. Like essentially what should be the first third of the movie ended up taking up half of the movie. And you could have easily cut restaurant stuff, friend stuff, stuff with Ray's kids. And if you did that, then you would have the first third of the movie a bit more focused on Scott's non-family time, having a bit more focus on Kelsey, which ended up being important because you watch that whole movie and you have no idea what he thinks of Kelsey or that she matters to him. And then at the end, he ends up realizing that he loves her and says that to her. And it falls extremely flat. And
does.
I was talking to I was talking to a relative who's a firefighter who loved the firefighter stuff. I loved the firefighter stuff in this too. And he was saying like, it seemed like the movie was building up for Ray dropping him off for him to take the test.
That's what I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
So and instead it's great. He's going to see Kelsey, but we didn't know that he cared that much about Kelsey because she was such an afterthought in the first half of the movie. And really throughout the entire movie, honestly, like,
right. There's never a point where you're like, oh wow, he
cares
really
about her,
loves her. Yeah. Like even like the scene before, like they have like this big revelation or whatever that he loves her is like him using her for housing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Fucking
so
for shelter.
Like, you never get an indication that he truly cares about this person.
Right. And also another thing they really failed to do, or a way the timeline, the structure is thrown off because that first half is so bloated. You don't know if Ray's a good guy or what Ray's about until like 2/3.
But I think that's fine. No, yeah, like so I think that's fine.
No, I think you don't know anything about any of the characters other than Pete Davidson plays like a kind of burnout who just sits around with his friends all day, and so you know about him and you know about his friends, but it's all very surface level stuff for really like 2/3 of the movie, and I think that's a waste.
Yeah, and so like I'm okay with not knowing who Ray is because like that gives you sort of the perspective of being able to kind of like relate to Pete and trying to figure out whether this is a good guy or not.
Yeah, but then when he talked to his ex-wife and said he lost all the money and he didn't want to see his kids, I was like, I hate this guy, and Pete's right.
Yeah, but then it gives Ray the opportunity to kind of like explain himself.
But he never did.
Yeah, that's the issue. Like that would be easier solved to have like there be a more clear explanation to be like, oh, this is why, like this was a fucked up move by Pete because he didn't get this side of the story.
Yeah. So it takes things that should be established earlier take too long to get to because they just like dilly dally for like an hour and 15 minutes in what it could be like.
Towards the beginning, it felt like there was like a checklist of things that Pete wanted in like his first movie. Like a list of jokes, and he was like, "I got to make sure I get these jokes off."
And like someone throwing up.
Yeah. And so like that's what it kind of was. It was kind of just like joke vomit in the first hour or so.
Which it was funny.
I don't think it
was good.
So I didn't think the jokes were particularly funny. I thought that like it obviously had funny moments, but I didn't think that. I'm trying to remember like were any of the one-liners particularly good?
I mean, I think it was like the first scene where it was where like they were fucking with that girl.
Yeah, the knock.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty fucking good. I thought that the tattoo scene was hilarious, where he was tattooing the little kid.
Oh yeah,
very fucking funny.
Yeah,
that should have been in like the first 20 minutes of the movie, the first like 25 minutes of the movie, because that gets everything moving.
Yeah, there's just like a lot of ways they could have condensed certain things, and so after I saw it, I tweeted like King of Staten Island, like I liked it, B-, way too long. Like really had some structural issues.
Staple of
so
Judd Apatow.
And every tweet, every response was like, yeah, well, it's a Judd Apatow movie. I'm like, well then just listen one time, Judd.
It felt too long in the beginning rather than the end because the staple of Judd Apatow movies is like the last 30 minutes drags, and it's just like, okay, we didn't need this. We didn't need this tacked on at the end. Whereas this was kind of the opposite, where it's like we didn't need this stuff at the beginning.
Also,
right.
I didn't like how he wants to be a tattoo artist, and then we all like think he's terrible, and then he draws that nice picture, and we're like, oh, he's actually really talented, and then Ray lets him tattoo his back, and you think it's going to be something. Amazing. I thought it was going to be something amazing, like wow, he's really talented.
Still pretty bad,
and it's still awful.
So that's where I like when movies are like life in that
realistic
aspect.
Where it's like he's not just going to get amazing.
What ended up happening was he got a little better, and I mean he just so badly needed to make any sort of progress in any area of his life that actually I agree. Like I was taken aback by how bad the back looked.
Yeah.
Because it was like still very bad. But he went from like it was better than the Obama thing. Like the faces were still terrible. But I'll say this on a side note for Pete Davidson, I like that a lot of Pete Davidson's tattoos are bad because that's a really cool signature look. You know, like I like that. I like the heart behind his ear. It's not great. Wait, is that an Ariana Grande actually?
It's Ariana Grande, yeah.
What was it supposed to be? The bunny ears?
He had the bunny ears, and then when they broke up, he put a heart over it.
Oh, okay. Well, gotcha. I didn't mean to bring up any sore subject.
I think he'll be okay.
She got his dad's badge number tattooed on her.
It's very fucking weird. Dude.
Which is wicked weird.
It's way weirder to do that than it is to
interesting.
bunny ears.
Before we get into, I want to get into some of the performances, but first I'll run through some notes. He definitely didn't feed the cat.
No, for sure.
Definitely didn't feed the cat. Killed the cat.
Oh my God, I forgot about the cat.
So did he.
Not a single scene of him feeding the cat.
Also, he could have just stayed at that kid's house. If he was going to feed the cat, he could have just stayed there.
That's true.
It's like, what's the kid going to do? Beat him up? He's in jail.
Right. This was very fun. I was texting Pete when I was watching it. I was texting him like maybe halfway through it. And I said, we were talking about doing something. I was like, okay, I'll do it once I finish The Depressed Irishman because I was a little annoyed by how long the movie was. And then here comes Action Bronson.
Yeah, I figured that was part of that figured into why you called it The Depressed Irishman.
No, that was before Action Bronson came in. And you want to talk about unnecessary.
Yes.
I loved the second half of the movie, but it told us nothing because he would have done that in the beginning. He would, if a guy needed to go to the hospital, he would have he was still a well-intentioned person, and you still would have been high then. And there's so many you so easily could have
that was such an
reunited Ray and the mom in any other different scene, any other way.
Yeah.
You could have
that was very unnecessary.
I thought that was going to be a part where like Pete got it together and like packed the wound and called the ambulance and like did something and felt good about himself.
Yeah. I also
he just did the bare minimum. He stole an ambulance and drove it to the hospital.
Right. I get some I get douche chills now, and Apatow movies still do the thing of where they'll keep the camera rolling and they'll shout out for a character to say a million different lines. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Like every movie does this now. A good example though is like LeBron with Amy Schumer when they're on the sidelines talking, and LeBron's like, they gave him like 50 lines to use, and they use like the two funniest ones. There's definitely one of those with Action Bronson when he's bleeding and in the emergency room.
Yeah,
like,
when they were like wheeling him in or whatever.
Tell my mom this. Tell my dad that. Tell my sister I know she's my mom. And I'm like,
yeah, okay, that was funny.
That was a good line, but I'm like, I just felt so weird about that. That clearly they were just, Apatow was just sitting there barking these lines at him. What else do I have for notes? Really, just the Action Bronson thing didn't need to be there. I'll ask this now. Are firefighter movies the best? Because I think they might be.
They might be.
I love the firefighter stuff in this movie, and we loved Only the Brave. And like, I don't know, like, should I start watching Chicago Fire?
Well, because everyone loves firefighters. Like they can't harm. Like firefighters can only make things better.
The firefighter stuff in this movie was great. It was just like all sorts of camaraderie. Shout out Steve Buscemi. The young man got the and. You love to see it. You see that in the credits?
Deserved it.
He got the and. Did you guys know that Steve Buscemi was a firefighter?
Yep.
I did not.
Oh, I didn't know
you didn't
that.
know that? It's like a huge thing of his that he's a very proud firefighter. I believe his family his dad was a firefighter.
He's such a nice man.
Yeah, he was a firefighter, and
after 9/11, he
retired.
was got back into it.
He went back and worked 12-hour shifts in the days following 9/11. Shout out Steve Buscemi.
He's awesome.
He's the best. He's the absolute best.
I look up.
I loved the fire. I think there was like some real firehouse guys.
There were
in the movie, like that worked with his dad. Maybe.
No, there was.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah.
And I don't know if this is true, but we watched it with my cousin, and she said that story about in the movie Pete's dad like hanging out of the sky, the sunroof. Like that's a true story, and that Pete's dad did do that.
Oh, cool.
And that guy in the firehouse who was just a mammoth of a man coming out of the shower. Did you see that guy?
Oh yeah, the guy that says like I knew your father or like thanks for your sacrifice.
That dude's got to be a real firefighter. One, because he's just a gigantic human, and two, he was a pretty bad actor.
No, I feel like he's like a bodybuilder. I've never seen a firefighter look like that.
I was gonna say like, I would feel great if he was a firefighter.
Yeah,
I might just light my house on fire so that guy comes in and
the
saves
world is a safer place if that man is a firefighter. But yeah, you
punch the fire right in the face.
Obviously, you weren't going to get into that stuff with all the camaraderie of the firefighters until the second half of the movie. Like I liked that they had the scene at the minor league baseball game in the beginning where there's that kind of like surface level interaction between them. And it's like a very Gordon Bombay. I hate hockey and I don't like kids. So like Pete Davidson gives them the like, I don't like firefighters. I think they're really selfish. Okay, so that's how it's gonna be. Fuck firefighters. It's like, ooh, I bet they're all gonna come together. I bet he's gonna that wall is gonna come crumbling down. He's gonna find some love in his heart. Also, the scene of him telling Ray he loved him, kind of weird because
got there fast.
Fucking with him,
got there pretty fast.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we've only said negatives about the movie. So I was prepared to defend my putting it in the B range, but I think that you guys agree, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it was a good, charming movie, cute movie.
Very cute.
Not the best.
Love Pete.
I think that this movie might have benefited from the fact that it went straight to like home release, because that's like just such a good movie to watch at home and like not have to go anywhere. Like you don't have to really raise or elevate your expectations. So I think that's a lot of people.
Wait a second.
What?
Okay, it's still recording. Good.
Jesus. So like I
the
think
record button had gone away. I was scared.
That's a very like sort of safe home movie.
Yeah.
So I mean,
minus
also
like sex scene within the first like 2 minutes.
Tough when you're watching it with your girlfriend's parents.
Yeah.
Nice. So let's get into the performances. I wrote down solid performances from Davidson and Maude Apatow. I would say
big Maude Apatow fan. Like,
yeah, I mean, not to cheer for nepotism, but I don't know how you can't be a huge fan of
that's what I'm
girls.
saying. Like, I should be annoyed that she's in this movie. I should be annoyed that she's getting these roles from her dad. And you know what? I'm always down for Maude Apatow.
No, she deserves them.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, she's
you can't complain.
A good actress.
She's a great actress.
I think that Iris might be
better.
Like, yeah, Iris is great. I
so good.
I want to see
incredible.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't blow me away in this. I don't think it's necessarily a role that you could blow away. But
which one's the other Apatow?
She's
Iris.
She wasn't in it.
So you know when like Knocked Up and This Is 40, like the two little girls.
Mm-hmm.
That's Maude Apatow and Iris Apatow. They were like little kids.
The younger one, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, her younger sister Iris plays Aria in Love, and she just plays like a child actor who is very
sassy,
spoiled, but like also just like I don't know, just like over dealing with adults. Like very has it in her head that she's smarter than the adults, and the adults are so stupid in that show that you're pretty sure she's actually correct. Yeah, Iris Apatow is great, and Maude Apatow, I thought solid in this movie, as was Pete Davidson. Marissa Tomei, I mean, what else do you fucking want? She's always gonna kill it. The scene where she was an asshole, she's sitting around drinking wine with her sister, and gives Pete the old crazy old Maurice, I'll help you out, and throws him outside. That was great. But Bill Burr is my takeaway, and Buscemi obviously is always going to be really good. Cool that he got to get that role. But Bill Burr is my takeaway because he is a really good actor, and this is a different role for him. I'm glad that he got a role like this where it's a bit more dramatic than your Hubie or Kubi? What's
no idea.
Breaking Bad?
Yeah, I don't know his name.
Okay. But
he was in that movie too with Sandra Bullock and
Bird Watcher?
Megan. Damn.
You really nailed
Bird Box? Was that it?
No, they're like cops. They go on a cover. It's South Boston. There's
The Heat.
The Heat.
Oh, how was that?
It's fantastic. Have you not seen it?
It's
I
okay.
don't think so.
Oh, it's hysterical.
It's okay. He plays a guy from Boston, so it's not really like a stretch for him.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like,
it's just him being Bill Burr, basically.
Right. And I don't want that to happen. I don't want him to keep having to do that, because I think that a lot of like put Bill Burr in this movie is like, hey, we'll have him be this like sarcastic adult, which he obviously does very well because that's what Bill Burr is. But I thought that he gave a great performance in this movie, and it opens up this discussion. Who do you think is a better actor, Adam Sandler or Bill Burr? Because I know that projecting is involved, but I think Bill Burr is a better actor than Adam Sandler. And I think that we go so crazy for Adam. Like, imagine if Adam Sandler played this role in this movie, everyone would lose their mind. Like, oh, see, Adam Sandler, he's not just doing the silly voices. Look, he can really, really act. I go crazy when people get all excited about that, even though of course he can do that. But we all know that. We don't have to keep saying it over and over again. I think that Bill Burr did this role better than Adam Sandler could have. And I think that if Bill Burr continued to get dramatic roles, I think that he would be considered.
Yeah, but that's hypocritical, because like when we talked about Adam Sandler, you were like, well, do we really know that Adam Sandler's a good actor? Do we really know?
No, I said
he's only done it in like 2 or 3 roles.
Right. And then
so now you're saying the same thing with Bill Burr. You're like, I think Bill Burr is a great actor based on this one role.
But nobody says that with Bill Burr. They were saying it with Adam Sandler. But like, they saw Adam Sandler do something.
Maybe
different.
They will now. But hopefully. I feel like every time Adam Sandler does a serious role, people act like it's the first time he's done a serious role. Right. So they're like, Sandler could be a great actor. Sandler could be a great actor. And you get annoyed by that. Now you're saying, when Bill Burr doing a serious role, you're like, I think Bill Burr could be a great actor. I guess
what I'm saying is I don't like that we do that with Adam Sandler. But if you're going to do it with Adam Sandler, then you better do it with Bill Burr too. Because I think that Bill Burr is better in the kind of fringe role like this than Adam Sandler.
But I don't think that Bill Burr has like established himself as like this silly, goofy guy like Adam Sandler has, where it's like such a change for him to be in a serious role. So I think that's why people are so surprised and are like so ready to push Sandler into a serious discussion. Yeah,
people don't. Yeah, they're not as like inclined to remark,
to not take him seriously.
Yeah, but he was excellent in this.
He's very good.
Yeah, shut up, Bill Burr. Hope he gets more big roles.
Do we think that Pete Davidson was really good in this? I don't know.
No, I thought he was solid.
Yeah, I thought he was great.
And I thought that was like a Pete Davidson play Pete Davidson kind of thing.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like I want to see Pete Davidson do more. I want to see him like spread his wings and not be Pete Davidson.
Oh, that's always been my thing. My thing with Pete Davidson has always been like, I remember the first time I saw him do stand up. It was actually I think the day before we recorded Brunch for the first time. It was because I went and saw Anthony Jeselnik for the first time. It was at the Oddball comedy thing, and Pete Davidson was there. It was on September 11th, and he made jokes about how his dad died in 9/11. And I remember his set wasn't great, but I came away from it being like, I hope he gets good, and like I'm rooting for like this. This is a likable kid, and I'm pulling for him. And he's really had a career of this is a likable kid, and we're all pulling for him because why wouldn't you?
You got to cash in on that at some point.
But it's like sorry, you got to do something good though. Like you can't just continue to. I don't know. You
can't be a prospect your entire life. At some point, you need to reach that potential.
Good way of putting it. Yeah.
So, like Randy said it pretty well. Like I asked, like, is Pete Davidson really great at anything? And Randy said the only thing that he's great at is being Pete Davidson.
Yeah, and I don't know, as a person who's spent a lot of my life. Certainly, every person's life is different, and I've had a much easier life than Pete Davidson did. But like, as a person who's like kind of brand before it was cool was being a depressed person, I'm very much aware like you're depressed and we're hoping the best for you is not necessarily that's not like the end goal, you know? Yeah. Like you want to do better and you want to be good at as many things as you try. And it's similar to like you said, like being a prospect the whole time isn't satisfactory. You also want to do work and
become a star.
He is a star.
Yeah, but he's a star for being Pete Davidson.
But I think if the best thing you're good at has gotten you that far, and if it's just you being yourself,
right? So that's like
people get tired of you. People will get Pete Davidson fatigue at some point if he doesn't end up doing something that like is. I don't know. I think like carry on.
I don't think so. Like people aren't sick of like Will Ferrell. Like he does the same thing.
But so I'll ask
Kim
this.
Kardashian.
I'll ask this, and again, this is somebody who like. I love SNL, and again, I like Pete Davidson, and I'm hoping the best for him. Like, what things has he done? What work of his do you like, or do you like Pete Davidson? Right. I think that most people would just answer they like Pete Davidson.
Will Ferrell has bombs. Will Ferrell has hits. Will Ferrell has like pillars to stand on. I don't think that he's particularly. I think that I have Will Ferrell exhaustion, but I will always give Will Ferrell credit for being funny in a lot of the things that he's done.
And if anything, we're more annoyed by Will Ferrell being Will Ferrell. Like, we get it. You like USC, okay? Like, come on. And
so you can do the Anchorman voice,
right? So much of it is like we just like your work so much, and Pete Davidson is
the opposite,
polar opposite. I think that maybe if he worked for Barstool. And like that's how he came to be known, then maybe there would be like a lot of things he had done there based on who he is that we'd say, okay, these things that Pete Davidson did were great. But I think it's kind of unspokenly acknowledged in this movie that like he hasn't done a lot yet, you know?
I mean, he made it to SNL at 21 years old. He didn't just get there by like...
Right, but what has he done there? Yeah.
I don't know. He's good at it,
He just plays Pete Davidson on SNL.
Just do that,
that's it.
Though. There's some people like
he's not on it a lot,
like
though.
That.
But that's what I'm saying. We don't have to give him credit for it.
He still gets paid the same amount.
So that's what I'm saying. So like, again, that's my argument. Like, I don't think that he should... I don't think this is going to sound like very boomer of like you shouldn't get like paid until you prove yourself or anything. But I think that at some point, and I think that Pete Davidson would agree with this, there needs to be like the work and the success to show Pete for Davidson it. He individually is successful because he gets paid for it.
Pete Davidson has said 1,000,000 times that he doesn't know how or why he's still on SNL. And he doesn't want to be on SNL because he's not being allowed to do anything on SNL.
He is a star. There are just some people who are just stars.
I think that he is a star and he has star quality.
He's also
people
like 25.
Are obsessed with him, and I'm intrigued. Like when Pete Davidson does something, my ears perk up. I'm interested in Pete Davidson, but that doesn't mean that Pete Davidson is good. It just means that he has this it factor that he hasn't cashed in on yet.
Right. Yes, that's exactly what I agree completely with Pete. I think that he has not reach his potential. And again, I feel bad as I'm saying this because I feel like I'm like speaking negatively about him. I think that this is all stuff that he acknowledges that.
Well, he's also 25. Like I would hope that he hadn't done his best work yet.
But he's been on SNL.
But he hasn't done, again, like best work. Like he hasn't, there's not a lot of tangible stuff that someone who's been on SNL that long would have by now.
I think that this is his first step in the right direction career-wise that he's taken in a long time.
Yeah.
Like outside of his personal life. Work-wise, this is the first thing that he's done where I'm like, okay, Pete Davidson is heading in the right direction.
Like dating Ariana Grande was the best thing that ever happened to his
personally,
career.
For his career, yes, but that happened in his personal life.
Right. So I'll
not
say
in his work life.
But it was his career.
Right. I mean, that was a step in the right direction for Pete Davidson, the brand, but not Pete Davidson's career or his resume.
I think that we're arguing two things. Like, I think Pete and I are discussing his actual work and actual products, and then I definitely understand that
Pete Davidson is a star.
Right,
he is a star, and he has the it factor.
He's a star in the same way that like an Instagram model is a star, where like you're known for being who you are, which is great.
And you have people's attention.
That's not what SNL cast members are. Like Kyle Mooney, who is not nearly as big a star as Pete Davidson, has accomplished a lot more than Pete Davidson has. Like he's given that show more sketches,
and they're both comedians. So like they're both comedians. And if you were to say to me, like, who is funnier, Kyle Mooney or Pete Davidson. I think Pete Davidson is very funny, but I can't grab any specific thing for Pete Davidson and hand it to you and say, this is why this guy is funny. I can do that with Kyle Mooney.
Exactly. Unequivocally, I would say Kyle Mooney. So he's right. He's individually successful, but he hasn't achieved the things that someone who has been on SNL as long as he has would. And obviously he's not always been available to be on SNL. So you certainly take that in consideration. You don't blame him for that, but anybody else really, like, I can't think of, like, Jay Farrow, I think, was on SNL as long as Pete Davidson's been on. And Jay Farrow was always I always think of Jay Farrow as like untapped potential. And he still did a lot more on SNL than Pete Davidson has. I think that if you were to do like a lowest impact while being on the show for X amount of years, I think that Pete Davidson would be a real candidate there.
I guess I just have a hard time criticizing people who are younger than me who have already like surpassed my success level by like a million %.
God, please. Everyone's going to be more successful than us. I gave up on that forever ago.
We're failures. We suck.
And that's why it feels weird being like, I need Pete Davidson to do more than just be known for being Pete Davidson. Like, I would love for there to be some sketches, or I would love for there to be like a good stand-up special or any of these things. And in my opinion,
why? I just feel like really protective about him.
To me, you do. Yes.
Yes. I feel like he lived to like on, and I don't even mean this in a mean way, but like he lived to see another day. Like, I think he's doing good for Pete.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. But that doesn't mean that like we have to say that like he's killing it in his career.
Yeah. I mean,
whatever. I stand with Pete.
I think
not this one.